evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Jake D Talking Pop Culture with some of the boys to chat a little bit about the very first real movie release in the post-COVID era, Godzilla versus Kong. All right, joining me this evening, Fenrir, the Ice Wolf. Fenrir, say hello.
Greetings to all of you mortals. Now let's talk about a monkey beating the shit out of a gorilla. I mean a lizard. Fuck. A lizard. Fuck.
There you go. Ironcaster, how are you this evening?
Oh, doing just great. You know, got to see the return of Truckosaurus.
The Simpsons saw it coming.
Longtime friend of the channel and consistent contributor, Draco Argentis. How are you, sir?
Doing very well. How are you all doing?
No complaints, man. God.
You're on the Jake D channel.
Yes, sir. Let's do a quick hello. Looks like Robert is here in the chat listening in to see what we all think about Godzilla versus Kong. Mary G is here. Hello, hello. And let's see, Lord Thoth was in earlier, but said that he was going to be a little bit past his bedtime for this stream.
I made it. I at least made it.
All right. So first quick thing around the poll, just quick around the horn for everybody. So I went and saw this in theaters. I could have watched it on HBOmax, but I wanted to get the big screen for this one because it's Godzilla versus fucking Kong. And that, for me, just needed to be on the big screen. So I went to the theater and I saw it today. And one thing I wanted to, just a quick reaction to throw out there is, that was among the fullest that I have seen a theater for the past 12 months. The theaters here in Texas have been mostly open, although there hasn't been much new fare to see in them. And tonight's, I'd say the house was probably approaching 50% full, which is the most people I've seen in a theater since this whole COVID thing has been going. So that was pretty damn cool. So Fenrir, how did you watch this one, brother?
Well, I first watched it on streaming, but then the first fight scene came out, and I just couldn't resist. I'm sorry, but this has to be watched it has to be watched in the theater with people by your side to scream at the fucking awesomeness. I mean, for fuck's sake, I lost my shit. People were screaming with the whole Mecha versus Godzilla thing, him pummeling Godzilla up to the ground, and then King Kong just showing up to up on the fight. It was amazing. The screaming, people were loving it. The theater was what is a good capacity. It wasn't at full, but it was at a good capacity.
All right.
Enough for us to scream together.
Ironcaster, how'd you catch this one, brother?
Oh, I want to catch this one on HBO. I intended to go to the theater, but I figured, what the hell, I should probably go ahead and make a video or something. So I intended to watch the streaming here, make a video, and then I could get ready for this weekend stuff. But then my video editor decided, no, you don't have a video. No, this isn't good enough, and it threw it like so much monkey poop.
What about you, Draco? Is this theater or streaming for you, brother?
Streaming only. I did not watch it amongst the thousands of adulating fans that weren't not actually there, or the 50% crowd, but I did get to see it, and at least see it with the eye of someone who really just wanted to see some good kaiju monster stuff, especially after not seeing so much good monster kaiju stuff from Godzilla King of Monsters. And I was not let down, in my opinion.
There you go, man. Very good. All right, guys, so let's do high-level reaction and a rating before we really dive into more of a deep discussion where we get into some of the... I mean, I don't think this is... just We're going to get into spoilers, y'all. I mean, for me, this is not one where people should care all that much about spoilers because, I mean, it's kaiju monsters beating the shit out of each other. That's what you want. That's what you get overall. Hey, spoiler alert, obviously Godzilla and Kong fight. And hey, pretty much everybody by now should know Mecha Godzilla's in the mix too, right? So,
I thought they saw the differences by going to save Mothra.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, right, it's kaiju fighting each other and it's fun. There's not an overly complicated plot to spoil. There's some good monster battles. That's what it is. If you care about spoilers for this, fair warning, there's going to be some. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to give this guy I'm going to come in at 6.5 out of 10 on this. I enjoyed the movie. It was fun. There was good monster battles, lots of nice punching, some Godzilla blowing his nuclear breath. There was a fucking Mecha Godzilla, and I enjoyed the movie for what it is, right? I mean, it's not intended to be a hallmark of cinema history. It's just good fun. It's check your brain out and see big giant monsters beating the shit out of each other. And I got that and I enjoyed it. 6.5 out of 10. I'm a happy man. Fenrir?
I give it a 7.5 out of 10. I'm sorry. They really should have given the humans less time. Actually, give them no time at all. Would have preferred it like that. I just want to see monsters beating the living shit out of each other. I don't want to see science crap. I don't want to see humans talk. They can bring them to the location, but I just want to see them beat the living shit out of each other. Need no exposition. Just fighting would be okay.
All right.
But yeah, out of that, it was a great movie.
Fair enough. Ironcaster?
I was going into it expecting it to be basically a remake of Terror of Mechagodzilla, where what I had expected was that the Godzilla we saw causing all the destruction was going to actually be our Mechagodzilla, basically wearing a Godzilla skin suit, only to later discover that, oh no, it's actually giant robot, which it wasn't. so I got to have the crazy conspiracy theory that something was happening. Yes, that was Catzilla deciding to show up and have her opinion made. But I'd probably say around the same, about a 6.5, maybe a 7. I'm just pretty happy I was getting to see some big monsters beating everything up. And as always, though, you always want less of the humans and more of the monsters. But yeah, I was pretty pleased with what I got. I got what I expected out of it.
There you go, Draco.
I gave it basically. My numbers aren't like cut in half, so I gave it like a 7 out of 10. But it's mainly because, well, I got exactly what I was expecting to get out of it. I mean, they had the piece of something. We're not doing heavy spoilers. I assumed that it was heading this way. I assumed that it was pretty much going.
Say whatever you want to say, man. I mean, it's Godzilla.
They had the head of Ghidra.
Man.
They had the head of Ghidra, so there was going to be something about that to do with what they were going to do. The idea that they were going to use that as the control center for Mechagodzilla, and that would be the reason. Well, okay, now you got the reason for why Godzilla is doing what he's doing. I just find it interesting to name it. Well, this is not the first time I've heard that. I was just finding it interesting to name it the way that they did, considering the movie is actually Kong versus Godzilla. Kong got prime billing. Kong got the emotive thing. We care for Kong. Matter of fact, as far as I was concerned, the only person that I cared for in that whole thing was the little deaf girl who cared about Kong. Because she was the one that I was interested in. She was the one who actually seemed to care. She was giving me more than I was getting from some of the adult actors. So,
yep.
But I did get plenty of the monster action. I didn't get a whole lot of. I got to see what was going on. I got to see I got to see Godzilla beating up on Kong. I got to see Kong beating up on Godzilla. The only thing is not being able to see essentially Kong is Godzilla is a fucking battering ram that is looking to take down Ghidra again because the bad guy humans are using Ghidra parts to run their little golem, their Mecha Godzilla, up until the end where Ghidra isn't okay to be a ghost in the machine anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel bad that Doomcock did not get his original Mecha Godzilla, and we got some kind of Bay mechanization of Mecha Godzilla. Although I didn't have that much problem with it. My design sensibilities are different. That's what I have to say.
I mean, I liked the design of Mecha Godzilla. I
liked it too. I thought they were going to do some kind of crazy convoluted crap when it came to Mecha, but I really liked the design. Oh, shocked.
I mean, like, I got a good cheesy old school kaiju feel from the design, while at the same time not being like over the top 50s and 60s. I mean, I dug the design. I thought Mecha Godzilla looked pretty good. Now, guys, I do have something that I want to hear everybody's take on. Did you guys see that our boy V-Dub was one of the stars of this movie?
Oh, come on, dude.
He would not have taken off his mask for this to play conspiracy theorist.
It wasn't him. He would never have taken his mask for that. It would have not been him. He jumped to the CIA.
That guy was so giving me V-Dub vibes. It was hysterical, man. I loved it.
Oh, V-Dub is so much better than him.
Oh,
V-Dub's takes are 20 times better than that guy's. Come on. Come on. You gonna diss on our boy V-Dub? Please.
It's not a diss. It's not a diss. It was his Hollywood premiere, man.
They both go out with the CIA quite a bit. CIA gotcha.
Dude, that guy he gave me total, like, it just, oh man, that's our boy. That's V-Dub. Just got
V-Dub is superior to that interpretation.
Well,
and V-Dub carries around some liquor from his wife gave him in a shoulder holster and jacket, and he goes around freaking out people by showing off his little electronic gadgets converted from toasters. Yeah, I see V-Dub in that all day long.
Dude, the other than the little deaf girl, the only human character that I gave a shit about was conspiracy theory guy.
Yeah. Well, he was over the top like the rest of the movie, so that was kind of, yeah, I can see that. And then Millie Bobby Brown would say something and where was I? Oh, monster movie. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she kind of sucked, didn't she?
I'm worried about this child star ending up just like the rest of the adult pretenders in Hollywood.
Yeah,
I've got the holdovers from the last Godzilla movie.
Yeah, like, we should all worry about her future.
Anything of note in this movie.
Yeah,
especially in the couch selection industry we live in when it comes to Hollywood.
Yeah. Oh God, I hope she's. I really hope she's immune from that. I really hope she doesn't have to go through that shit because we all know she don't need to meet no Harvey Weinsteins. I mean, straight up. I mean, the humans, they were definitely the drag on the movie, right? I mean, there was too much human, and I mean, we go to a kaiju movie for the kaiju, and okay, Millie Bobby Brown is a hot star.
Kaijus to beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. Well, good to see you, brightest day. Glad you made it, my friend. Glad you made it. But yeah, there was definitely way too many humans kind of clogging up my monster movie, and that's why I come at the 6.5 out of 10 on it. Mainly, that's why the monster fights were the shit. I was a fan. Mary G says she was, she wasn't pissed off that Mechagodzilla gave Godzilla some heartburn with the red nuclear fire. Because she likes Kong. Spoilers. She mentioned that earlier. There you go. Brightest will appreciate that. Oh, man. So I don't know. What do you guys think of the monster fights in this one? Give me your thoughts, man. I mean, Kong with the fucking axe. I liked that.
I mean, my argument all along has been monkey use tool.
I mean, that was in the preview.
I always
You see
love
Kong flying up, got the thing in his hand, and he's coming down on Godzilla, and you're thinking something's going to happen, and then Godzilla versus Kong. That was the whole point of the preview, wasn't it?
That a monkey got over. Yeah, but I think Thor's going to be a little pissed off that a monkey got to steal his axe. Don't you guys think?
I think that first fight on the ship was probably the best one for my money.
That was good.
Just because you got the element of Kong out of his element on a boat. You get the extra little element of the humans are complete victims to everything going on.
Yep. Boats are just puddles in the water as Kong is like trying to maneuver the fight, and he's jumping on this one. Did
Kong at least go for the head? It depends on which fight you're asking about, Brightest Day. Kong definitely went for the head at the end. He did not make the mistake of Thor. And he even triumphantly raised Mechagodzilla's head in the air after he ripped it off of the motherfucker, which was great.
I mean, there was that fight with the flying kaiju snakes where he not only does he go for the head, he eats it.
Oh, that was good.
The human just
And there, I know someone in there was given the Latina chick who was the daughter of the big bad, was giving her some love just because she was a cute Latina chick, but that was her moment to go, ugh, disgusting.
Yes, yeah,
and then
Robert liked her.
And then she got crushed later because she's bad. Because she's bad.
Can you say? I dug the one thing I will say about the humans, those suits that they put on when they went into the heaves to go into the Hollow Earth. I liked the suits.
Oh yeah, I dug those. I dig those.
I thought they looked cool. I liked those suits. You could
not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was more than the massive super monorail connecting Florida to Hong Kong that was like, what is this thing? Oh my. Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm in this for giant monsters, so nothing is supposed to make sense. My brain was not completely off, but
but one thing can you guys
those things that they were wearing.
To me? One thing you guys can please explain to me that I'm having difficulty understand. How the hell did Kong know how to fix his own broken hand? How does he have knowledge of medical? How does he have medical knowledge?
Well, he's had the shit beat out of him a few times before by the skull crawlers. So, I'm sure he figured out how to deal with a shoulder being out of place when he was fighting those little bastards.
Hurts.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like this.
Dildo.
If I push back.
He's probably popped out before. It's probably popped out before. Although that was something that was very much, it's that very masculine thing that you've seen in a bunch of these action films where, I go right back to Lethal Weapon when you got Riggs popping his shoulder back into place. Yeah, it doesn't hurt so much except when I pop it back into place.
Well, we got movie stars nowadays where they can't look tough, so we get to have a monkey do it.
I'm okay with
Let
that.
the monkey do it.
So next we need Kong to star in a buddy cop movie.
I mean, these things are giant. These things are giant monster bashes. They're wrestling matches. Yeah, they're scripted. They're supposed to look wild and crazy and make you get into them and make you have a good guy and make you have a bad guy. So it's what it is. And I'm not gonna argue anyone for wanting to pick holes in it, because you know what? It goes right back to the best parts of this movie, the best parts of the original Godzilla reboot in 2014 or whatever it was, the original part of it, of the best parts of King of Monsters was when you care about the certain moments with the kaiju. And if they do less of that, or if they do it poorly, or if they cover it up with a bunch of crap so you don't care about it, we walk away, because that's not why we're there for the movie. We got a heck of a lot of service with fights. We got a heck of a lot of service with Kong, not so much with Godzilla, but a heck of a lot of service with Kong playing up, getting into his headspace. Got a heck of a lot of service with the idea of what was the idea behind Kong and this whole thing about the, talk about crazy stuff, but the middle of the earth, the hollow earth theory,
the hollow earth,
and not just the hollow earth, but apparently this was a big thing that either, whether it was ancient humans, ancient aliens, or something down, or even other monsters were building stuff down there. I mean, that was world building on, I mean, okay, sure. Wow, that's interesting. And you see you see the giant Kong hand down there, and you see the huge place where he finds his tool. Not to mention the tool turns on the little Godzilla thing in the floor, and I'm going, wow, that's we are completely off of the spoiler stuff here. Just crazy stuff. And there's a lot of mystery box things with, but you don't have to have it. So take it, move it aside. Monsters beating up monsters. Woo!
Yes.
And deny
Gorilla
nothing
have
because it's
cool.
good stuff. Not to mention Godzilla fire charged up tool. I guess it was, supposed to be one of the blades off of the back of a Godzilla. Turned into a tool. Wrapped in a bone.
Why not?
Crazy, man, but why not? Charge that motherfucking thing up with Godzilla fire radioactive breath energy and knock some fucking Mecha Godzilla arms and legs off, and
dude,
and
it
at least
worked
somebody
for me.
brought back they cucked Predator in the last Predator movie, but you finally got Kong ripping the spine out of his enemy and roaring it to the sky.
More than
Am I a little
once.
off the hook?
More than once, Kong was ripping heads off.
Ripping heads off of that
got
snake
the chest
monster thing
beaten.
and eating the crap out of it.
Dude, I liked it. I enjoyed this movie. Dude,
Green
so
stuff.
It became more than what people thought it was going to be. And that is amazing.
yeah, something else I really think to point this out that's worth calling out about this movie is the box office take that it looks like it's hauling in for its opening weekend. And
It's doing
this
more
is
than Wonder Woman
really,
did.
yeah, this is really worth calling out. Okay. So now, granted, world's opening back up, right? I mean, there's certainly more availability to go see this movie in theaters than there's been for about anything else for the past 12 months. All right. So we do need to remember that. But in this, whole COVID world with restricted capacities and whatever the fuck have you, right? So this movie has already rolled in over 120 million internationally. And it's looking at, we're seeing between 42 and 45 is the domestic expectation. So COVID reduced capacity world where there's a fuck a lot of theaters that ain't even got their doors open right now. This puppy's going to pull in somewhere in the neighborhood of 160, 170 million dollars globally in its opening weekend. That's a big fucking deal. I mean, that's not a small thing. And this was the perfect movie to do it because there's no bullshit in this movie. Everybody can just go, you can just check your brain out and have fun. I don't know. What do you guys think about the box office on this?
Monkey fight lizard. Brain like.
More of it. Well, look, we've got an opportunity for people to get back in theaters to enjoy a movie again, and some people have been cooped up for a real long time, and there's not a lot of people are going to be going out to see this. So just think if this movie had actually been released pre-COVID, had this movie been actually released when people had nothing to fear but the common cold and a nasty flu.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This thing could have made big bank in a pre-COVID world.
It's funny that you mention a comparison to pre-COVID, Draco, because the precursor to this movie, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, its domestic opening weekend was only 47.7 million. And Godzilla versus Kong is going to be at 42 to 45 in a fucking COVID world. That's pretty goddamn impressive.
Don't you think?
Yeah, and Brightest Day, supposedly it's 160 million budget, so they should be in the black on this by next week, which is pretty damn good.
Well, that doesn't take into account the advertising.
Yeah, well, you add about 20%, give or take, on average. So they need to bring in about 200 mil to break even, and they're at 160 to 170 after this weekend. So they should be in the black by next week, which is pretty fucking impressive. It's a win, man.
Yes, absolutely agreed. Didn't even know if it was going to be able to do this much. I mean, considering that we're only doing 50%, even with certain civil locations, even with certain states resisting any other orders or whatever, and allowing things like, I mean, major theaters to be able to open up to have a place to actually play this thing and to have enough showings. I mean, if they do this, are they doing the whole? They got to be doing the whole cleaning thing, right? So the theaters got to be mindful of that, and they're probably still worried about being able to make their money back if they're going to continue operating clean and everything. So it's even more impressive for that, because they probably can't they can't do a show if they've got to wipe down everything in between.
Yeah, well, the Cinemark that I went to, they're putting at least 2 seats on either side of any group of tickets that you buy. So I mean, the theater might have been sold out because there's a lot of empty space because of that. Yeah, so it might have been sold out. I mean, even though here in Texas they could fill it 100% if they wanted to, they're voluntarily not doing that. So hard to say.
Well, the other thing we're not, in terms of the box office on this, the other thing we're not taking into consideration is the HBOmax factor. I mean, just the fact that this is now also on HBOmax, we don't necessarily know how many people are going to sign up just for this. I mean, of course, then again, there's also the matter of account sharing. Actually, my father called me out of the blue yesterday, was asking me about HBOmax, asking me about this movie, and it was like, yeah, this movie is definitely on like normie radar.
I think the box office receipts tell you that, man. I mean, it's 45 million in a COVID world domestically. That's nuts, man. That's I mean, compared to Wonder Woman did 16.7 million, which was the previous high for any COVID released movie.
What did Tenet do?
It's not even on the list. Oh, 9.4. No, 9.7. 9.4. It did 9.4. You know, which
that
is
was
pretty
right in the middle
shitty.
of it too.
Yeah, it was
that was
what,
a big
August?
one. They were laying blame on things like it was a Midwest. The Midwest obviously can't support a blockbuster movie because mainly Midwest theaters were open enough to play the thing full schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have the coasts, don't have the major metropolitan centers, don't have Chicago in the Midwest because they were shut down mostly. Don't have the entire western western states.
Yeah,
It was
so
bad.
I mean, I can't see this as anything other than a success, and they released it at, I think, the right time when there's enough people willing to go out to watch it. They released it with a movie it's not going to have anything that would put anybody off in it, right? So, I mean, oh, wow. We're 31 minutes into a discussion about entertainment, and you know what none of us have bothered to even bring up? Woke. There really is. There's no woke in this, right? I mean, it as there shouldn't be. It's a fucking kaiju movie, for God's sake, right? So I mean, like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is like the perfect movie
to
try to restart the box office.
I feel like we should get the.
You know what makes me happy? You know what makes me happy about this? The guy who directed this movie is going to be responsible for Thundercats reboot, and he actually starts to respect the characters in the Thundercats franchise, which gives me some hope.
Yes.
Some, not a lot, but some hope for good Thundercats movie, because we haven't had good material on that franchise for years.
At least a little bit.
All I know is that
tiny bit.
All I know is Thundercats Ho was absolute god awful. Like,
don't bring that shit up.
It was awful.
Yeah,
that is sacrilege to true fans. That is sacrilegious shit. Do not bring it up.
Well, the Navy was used to the science lady told them what to do.
Yeah, if we get a fight scene between Lion-O and Mum-Ra with the same style of Godzilla and Kong versus Mechagodzilla, I will be happy. I will be a happy man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any serious complaints about the movie. If you try to analyze it, is there shit that you say, God damn it, son of a bitch? Well, actually, yeah, of course there is. But this is a check out, just enjoy the carnage movie. I mean, fucking Hong Kong got obliterated, which is what you expect from a kaiju movie, right? I mean, so that's all good. It's what you want, man. And
I would say there might be plenty of people who push back on the level of woke in the show. Like, there's a few comments in chat. But the thing is that, to me, this is an idea of, well, if you're not telling the story with the platform as the central, you sprinkle this stuff in, because you still have elements of that in the behavior of Brown, and you still have elements of it in the behavior of the scientist is kind of a coward. The male scientist is kind of a coward and kind of until the end, when he redeems himself and also plays it up because he's referring to himself as a coward, thinking that he's referring to himself as brave, and her and the child referring to itself as brave. So you get that joke, and you get to play that joke, and that joke is actually good from that point of view, because then he gets to make the turn. He actually gets to be something that you used to see before progressivism got turned into the full woke thing. You got to see the cowardly scientist who actually picks up the gun or pilots the craft because no one else is available. You get to see that. And yes, you're going to have the female scientist who is there, and yes, she's the person on hand. But instead of platforming it, you run that stuff out, you run it up the flagpole, and then you let it air out, because we don't need that. We're just there for the monsters.
Yeah, and they, look, the kind of pussy scientist guy did sort of step it up at some point, which is, wait a minute, was that holy shit, in a movie where we really didn't want to see many human characters, there was one that actually had a little bit of an arc, and it was the white dude?
and it
All
was
right,
a white
cool.
male. He is a Scars guard.
I think you're right.
He is a Scars guard, but he's a white male.
Yeah, but
And
yeah,
you know
man,
what
I
I
think
think would have been bad, would have been great. I mean, the final fight. I think
Does
I
that
would
get
have
it
loved if
triggered?
the final fight was in Tokyo. I would have loved if the final fight was in Tokyo. Maybe specifically around the parts where the guy that made Kong or Godzilla, where those guys were born. Specifically.
yeah. And Robert saying he gave it a 6 out of 10 as well. He'd like to see more movies too. No, more movies. No more Birds of Prey. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, brother. So substitute all human characters for one Mexican soccer announcer. Yeah, that'd work.
Yeah, right.
I have an alternative. We need to substitute all the humans for those Amazonians from the Snyder Cut.
I'm okay with that.
I would be 100% okay with that. Without
No
a single
complaint.
Those
Tell me a
Amazonians.
man would complain.
All right, guys. Final thoughts about Godzilla versus Kong. And do you want to see more out of this legendary kaiju verse? Fenrir.
Would you like to see more?
It was
Would you like to know
amazing.
more?
I would love to see more actually in the future, but I'm afraid if there is more, they will somehow ruin it, like they always do. But still,
Fair enough.
I would love, if put in the right hands, to see more.
All right. Ironcaster. What do you think, brother?
Oh, I thought it was pretty good. It's a fun, mindless, monster movie. For my money, in terms of the Godzilla movies, I still like the Showa era stuff better. Give me a man in a rubber suit. Give me some silly stuff. Godzilla flying through the air. King Kong shoving a tree down his throat. Things like that. Fun for the whole family. When there's always a little child sidekick, which there was some fun, some good little callbacks and familiar elements to this. But yes, I definitely want to see more from this, and I'm hoping that they'll keep going. Who knows? Maybe we'll get to see the goofy aliens come into this at some point. It's one of those inevitable things. Who knows? We could get a new Godzilla out of this. Space Godzilla. No, wait, we had that. Deep Sea Godzilla. Yeah, give me a fish Godzilla.
There you go. Draco, what are you thinking, brother?
I'm thinking I definitely agree. That was we just want more of the good stuff. And if there's anything to be said, we have been starved. I mean, it's one of the big problems, and we're probably going to continue to be starved from stuff coming along in the future. It's still rolling in things that were set up a year and more ago, so we're going to have to wade our way through certain movies. But this particular movie is a movie to be experienced, a popcorn flick par excellence kaiju action. So if you want to actually have some fun watching stuff get destroyed, probably a little bit more fun than me, because I never was a great one for Schadenfreude. So every time I see that one of those Hong Kong buildings go down, I'm thinking, oh, all the people. But but still, monster action, excellent stuff. That's more of the same. Please, more Kong, more Godzilla, more of them doing the two bro dude thing, looking at each other, and Kong is shouting at him and Godzilla is shouting back, and they walk away because they're not always at each other's throats. That was kind of cool too. Way to end it.
Yeah. I would, I want more of this legendary kaiju verse. I do. I am game for another 2 or 3 movies out of this. I think they could do a few more and it would still be good fun. Absolutely, unquestionably happy that we got to see just a fun monster ass kicking movie. It was everything that I wanted. I knew there'd be some hokey, stupid shit because that's what's in kaiju movies. I mean, it's supposed to have that shit, but yeah, I mean, it was good, man. I want some more of this shit. And so yeah, give me more. Give me more. I will take it. I will go see it in the theaters because I enjoyed this. It was worth it. It was worth the ticket price. It was worth the concession cost. Absolutely. And plus I like going to movies, man. It's just I do. It's one of the reasons I'm here talking about them. So,
we hope
yeah.
Dune is gonna be good. Right to stay.
Back.
Yes.
I'm worried about Matrix 4, Liger fan.
Matrix 4, I'm worried about. Mortal Kombat, I am not worried about.
Mortal
and we will be back here in a couple of weeks to talk Mortal Kombat in a stream a lot like this one because, by God, I am looking forward to some fatalities.
I got to do it.
Mortal Kombat!
Don't forget, we also got Cruella.
No one's going to watch that. No one is going to watch that.
But Dune, looking forward to Dune as well, man. So we'll see how things shake
Hope
out.
for Dune.
Yeah, I've read a couple of the books. I'm excited. I read a couple of the books. I'm excited.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to do her for tonight on the Godzilla versus Kong review. So bottom line, high level summary, it was fucking fun. Go see it. Go see it. What are you waiting for? Go see the fucking movie.
And probably in the theaters, too. That's choice.
Yes, in theaters if you can, but streaming if you can't. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. And we'll catch you tomorrow for Howling About Entertainment at 5 p.m. Central Time.